Visual Studio Code is the most popular code editor out there, and for many good reasons. The number of features and extensibility VS Code offers is unmatchable with any other code editor, and the best thing is, it just keeps getting better and better with time. While most of its features can be accessed from the graphical interface, knowing keyboard shortcuts can greatly improve your coding speed and efficiency. While working, these shortcuts can save you time and boost your productivity. You guys have been requesting a Visual Studio Code shortcuts video for months now. In this video, I'll share with you a lot of tips and tricks, keyboard shortcuts, and time savers that I've been personally using on a daily basis for many years now. The shortcuts that I'll cover in this video will save you time and speed up your development workflow when using Visual Studio Code significantly. Alongside this video, I've also prepared a complete VS Code shortcuts cheat sheet that covers all of the most important Visual Studio Code shortcuts. As a bonus, in the guide, I've included some fantastic VS Code extensions as well. And best of all, it is entirely free. So make sure to pause this video right now, scroll down, and download the guide. After you download it, I would still strongly encourage you that you watch this video until the end, because the guide does cover the shortcuts and explanations of what they do, and that's great if you want to reference them quickly. But in this video, I'll share with you my personal favorite VS Code shortcuts and show you how to use them effectively. By the way, if you'd like me to create a separate Visual Studio Code extensions video that I use, definitely make sure to like this video, comment down below, and let me know. If this video reaches 15,000 likes, we're recording a VS Code extensions video. So, with that said, let's dive right in. The primary goal of this video will be to teach you how to use your keyboard more effectively, switch to your mouse less often, and therefore reduce the time spent on a project by multiple hours. And while we're on the topic of increasing your productivity, let's also quickly talk about improving your coding skills in general. A majority of aspiring developers avoid learning data structures and algorithms, or DSA for short, as they either find them boring or think that they are useless in real life. But that's not true. DSA is not only important for cracking interviews, but they also teach you how to solve real-world problems. Man companies and tech startups need people who understand DSA to adapt to new frameworks quickly. Real-world problems that can take months can be solved in just minutes using the knowledge of DSA. While it is true that data structures and algorithms are difficult to master, they're not impossible. So today, I've got a fantastic resource for you. Geeks for Geeks has a self-paced course on data structures and algorithms. This course is taught by credible educators and a team of experts. They go in-depth on mathematics, how to master recursion, arrays, trees, sorting, and everything else you need to learn. Apart from theoretical learning, they have live projects wherein you can practice and apply your learnings to real-world projects. Finishing this course will give you all the knowledge about DSA that you need. There are already thousands of students who have benefited from this course and got their dream job. So go use the link in my description along with the code JSM to get a 10% discount and a lifetime access to the course. I highly recommend it. With this course, you will become confident in preparing for interviews with top-notch companies. With that said, let's dive right into the video and let's start exploring all of the amazing VS Code keyboard shortcuts. Inside of our Visual Studio Code, I've actually opened up a project I've been working on quite a lot recently. It is the NFT Marketplace project for the NFT Marketplace course that's coming as a part of JavaScript Mastery Pro really soon. If you're watching this video just a bit after the release, it is possible that the course is already out there and you can check it out by clicking the link in the description. If it's not, stay tuned, it's coming soon. The reason why we're going to use this project as an example is because we have many different components, contexts, contracts, logic, and so much more. So we're going to really dive into how Visual Studio Code shortcuts can help you. So let's start with the first command on our list, Control-Shift-P. If you're on Mac, that's going to be Command-Shift-P. And in this entire video, for every single shortcut, I'm first going to mention the Windows shortcut, for example, Control-Shift-P, and then a macOS shortcut, for example, Command-Shift-P. But just know, on macOS, in most cases, whenever I say Control, that's going to be Command. The commands are incredibly similar. With that said, let's explain what this first command does. Control-Shift-P. It opens up the command palette. Have you ever used it before? If not, you're missing quite a lot. It's so powerful. It will probably be one of your most used features if you start using it the right way. So what does it do? The command palette represents every single functionality, shortcut, and configuration option in form of a searchable list. You can access the command palette by pressing Control-Shift-P, and then what you can do from here is run any command that you want to. So let's say I want to open up a terminal and I don't remember the shortcut to do so. I can just run the command and then type terminal. It's going to say open up a new external terminal or just create a new terminal. From there, you can simply click right here, or you can run the command Control-Shift and then this sign right here to open it up. As you can see, we didn't have to know this specific command. We just had to type Control-Shift-P, type terminal, and then just click right here. You can repeat this process for absolutely every single other thing. You might want to change some settings and you don't want to go through the struggle of finding out where that option exists. Just open up the command palette and it will come up with all sorts of suggested commands to help you out. For example, let's talk about the theme. You guys often ask me, hey, what theme are you using? So just type theme, and right here you can choose. In this case, I'm using OneDark Pro. So if you ever need a helping hand, open the command palette and try to search for what you're looking for. Most likely, you'll be able to find it. And if you found yourself often coming to this page, searching for a similar command, you can also learn that command's shortcut, and that way you'll become even faster. Once again, incredibly powerful and useful feature. The next command on our list is Control-P or Command-P on Mac. This command allows you to quickly open up any file in your project. It displays the search bar to search for files. So if I wanted to open a specific file, for example, a footer of this project, I would have to click right here, go to the Explorer. Then I would have to browse through all of the files and folders, and I would have to guess where it is. Let's say that it's in the components, and then I would have to scroll down to go to the footer component, click right here, open it, and then close the Explorer. As you just saw, there were a lot of steps to do so. And imagine if our project structure was even more complicated and we had to dive into many deeper nested levels. It's just a mess. So this can take a lot of your time. But now let me show you a keyboard shortcut that will open files rapidly so you no longer have to toggle that sidebar ever again. As I've said, the shortcut is Control-P. So what it does is by default, it will give you a list of recently opened files, and in addition, you can search through files with different names. So for instance, if I wanted to open up the footer, I would just type it out and press enter. There we go. I was immediately taken to the footer file. It's an incredibly handy shortcut that I use on a day-to-day basis. You can quickly move between files, and it saves you a lot of hassle from finding the files, clicking through the files and folders, and then closing the Explorer. I would strongly recommend using it. The third command on our list is a pretty simple one. Control or Command B. Toggle the sidebar. Sometimes while writing code, you want to use the full width of the editor to see more of the code that you write. I do this in all of my videos. Many people ask me in the comments, how do you do that? So here's how. Just simply press Ctrl B and the sidebar collapses. One way of collapsing the sidebar manually is to take the mouse in your hand and click this icon on top left. But again, you actually have to move your hands from your keyboard, take your mouse, point it right here, and click it. Ctrl B just makes things so much simpler. Again, this is really helpful because you can see more of your code. The next shortcut on our list is to select words one after another. And for that, you can use the Command D or Ctrl D keywords. So let's say that we are in our footer and the name of our application is CryptoCat. So let's say that we need to change all of the instances of the CryptoCat word. So you can select your word and then you can simply press Ctrl D. This is going to immediately select the next instance of that same word, and we can repeat it one more time. Now, if you want to change that word in all of the places, you can simply keep going through it and then simply replace it right here. For example, JSM NFT Marketplace project. And now, if we search for that, JSM NFT Marketplace, you can see that it's changed in all three locations simultaneously. Let me get that back right here. And that's it. You can essentially change many instances of words just by using that keyword. For example, if I type test1, test2, and then test3, let's do it like this. And if I select test and press Ctrl D, you can see that all of the keywords get selected. And now I can say JSM1, 2, 3. Essentially, you get additional cursors for every single Ctrl D that you press. But now, here is an advancement to that same keyword. You might have been wondering, how did you know that you selected all of the keywords of CryptoCat? But now, let me present you with an upgraded version of that same command. Ctrl-Shift-L or Command-Shift-L on Mac. It does the same exact thing as Ctrl D, but it selects all occurrences at once. So you don't have to select one instance after another. You simply select the word, press Ctrl, Shift, and then L, and then all of the instances are immediately selected, and you can immediately just change them. This is going to save you so much time. Of course, the alternative to this is just selecting the word and then pressing Ctrl F. This is going to open the Rename tab. Right here, you can search all of the occurrences, but you can also click this arrow right here and then type a replacement. You can keep replacing things one by one, or you can simply replace all of the instances right here. There we go. So these are many different ways in which you can change many occurrences of the same word. But there's one problem with that approach. What if we have the same word in a few different places? For example, images or image. But not all of these instances of that word are related to the same thing. For example, imagine that this was image.logo, and this right here was the image component. They are not the same. So if we were to select these two and replace the name to something like test, so name of the component is going to be test, and then the test.logo. Of course, this is not going to make sense, because it might work in one case, but in another case, we cannot simply access the logo 2 from test. So that's where the previous methods could just mess your code just a bit. But the next shortcut that I'm about to show you will fix that. You can use the F2 key, or on macOS it's also F2, but make sure to press the function key at the same time as F2. So if we want to replace an instance of images everywhere, of course you could do this and then Ctrl D and keep pressing that. But as I've said, that's not ideal. What you can do is select images and then press F2. This is going to open up a window that's going to allow you to change only that specific variable. Visual Studio Code is smart and it knows that you only want to change the images that you're importing from assets. So instead of images, let's replace this with assets. And now, as you can see, image remained right here, but in here we have assets, as well as in all other places. This is looking great. The next command on our list is Control tilde. That's the key left of your number 1 key. Or on macOS, that's Command tilde. This command opens up the terminal. Usually, I always use the built-in terminal in Visual Studio Code because you don't have to worry about opening the terminal in the background and then switching tabs continuously. So this command allows us to open up and close the terminal with the same command. Just click it and it's gone. Again, we can now use a Control P to go to the footer. You can see that we can see most of the code, but now if I open up the terminal, it is not visible. So with that command, you can quickly open and close it and see most of your code. It is really helpful, especially when you need more space to work with. The next shortcut on our list is the Control / or Command /. This is all about commenting lines of codes, and I'm sure most of you already know these commands. So what we can do is type 2 / in front of a specific line to comment it out, or you can simply select it and then press Control /. But you don't even have to select it. You can simply click on a line you want to comment out and then press Control /. It's going to do the same thing. Of course, if you want to comment out multiple lines, simply select them and then comment them out using Control /. And the best thing about this shortcut, or we can say the best thing about Visual Studio Code, is that it knows what we're working on, meaning which code or programming language are we working on. So if we want to use this shortcut in HTML, it will comment it out in an appropriate way. Or if we are, for example, in React, it's going to do a different style of commenting, as you can see right here. And once again, for CSS, it's also going to use the appropriate commenting styles. Everything will work perfectly. So just to repeat, select the lines you want to comment out and then simply press Control /. There we go. The next shortcut is incredibly useful. Control and space, or Command space. It is used for triggering suggestions. Let's say that we have a string. Const string is equal to, and let's do something like hello world. Now, of course, we can call this string and do some actions on it. As you can see, we immediately have this huge window, but usually it is just taking a lot of our space and we don't want it. So all of us most likely just click away, right? And now if we go back, that window is gone. So we lost our suggestion box, but it is definitely helpful. So what we can do is we can press Control space after the dot, and it's going to reopen the suggestion box, and you can choose all of your string commands right from here. There we go. Now, if you press Control space one more time, it's going to give you even more information on what this specific command does. You can press Control space to toggle the extra information on or off. This is definitely useful if you get stuck trying to remember a specific string, array, number, or whatever else property you're working with. Definitely useful. The next command on our list is Control Shift and then opening or closing square bracket. Let me show you what it does. This keyboard shortcut allows you to fold or unfold a block of code. So why would you ever need to fold or unfold a block? While reading a file with lots of lines of data, it is easier to collapse or hide an entire block that you're currently not focusing on so that you can focus on something else, and it can save you a lot of time, distractions, or accidental edits. So in this case, click anywhere in the block and then press Control Shift opening square bracket. As you can see, it is quickly going to hide it. To reopen it, press Control Shift and then closing square bracket, and it is back there. We can try doing this for a few places, for example, for this return right here. And now we can see that our file is 59 lines long and that it has 2 different functional components inside of it. Great. The next command is Control or Command comma. It is used to open up settings. We all know that Visual Studio Code comes with a lot of features and settings that you can change to fit your needs. Visual Studio Code settings are amazing, and we can often change some settings while working on different projects. And the usual way of getting to the user settings is by clicking the gear icon on the bottom left, and then you would have to go to settings. There we go. Just pressing Control and then comma makes it just a bit easier. It opens the settings directly, and you can change whatever you want, and then simply close the settings view. Maybe this won't affect your productivity, but sometimes it's useful to be able to get to the settings really quickly. The next couple of shortcuts are all about copy and pasting lines easily. If you want to copy or cut a line, one way you can do it is you can select the whole line right here, and then press Ctrl C or Ctrl X, and then press Ctrl V to paste it. Another poor way to do it can be to select the line right here, right click, find the copy right here, and then go where you want to paste it right here, and click paste. As you can see, this took so much time. So let me show you a faster way of copy and pasting a line. So if your cursor is already on a line you want to copy, you don't have to select it. You can simply press Ctrl C to copy it. That's it. Now you can just go somewhere and press Ctrl V. Of course, this also works for multiple lines, so you can select everything, Ctrl C, and then Ctrl V to paste it. If you want to move a line somewhere near it, instead of copy pasting the line to another position, there's an even faster and better solution, and that is to use the Alt key followed by the arrow up or arrow down key. This allows you to simply move the actual line up or down. This also works for selecting multiple lines, as you can see right here. Another even more advanced tactic is to select the lines, hold Alt, press Shift, and then arrow up or down. This is actually going to copy that line. So one more time, Alt, Shift, and then arrow up and down. And then you can just keep holding Alt to move them up or down using your up or down keys. I hope most of you knew this, and I hope that you're not selecting everything and then right-clicking and then clicking copy. And that's one of the slowest actions that you can do, as we as developers most often copy and paste some things. So simply Ctrl C, Ctrl V, and you're done. The next shortcut on our list is Alt and then click, or on Mac that's going to be Option plus click. Multiple cursors in Visual Studio Code are great time savers when you want to make the same edits at multiple places. You can add the cursor wherever you want to. So just simply hold Alt or Option and then click with your mouse, as you can see right here. This will allow you to insert additional cursors manually at any position. Once you've added the cursors, you can use the arrow left and arrow right to move from them. So you can simply type something like test instead of from, and you can manually delete letter by letter. But if you pair this with Control Shift and then arrow left and right, you can easily select multiple words and then change everything automatically. This is incredibly useful. So right now I'm holding Control, Shift, and then using the arrow left and right to select everything at the same time. So one more time, Alt plus click or Option plus click to put cursors at multiple places. If you simply want to insert a cursor above or below the current cursor, so let's say we have something like this, and we want to add it above and below, what you can do is simply hold Control, Alt, and then arrow up and down. This is going to add additional cursors, and you can have as many as you want, as you can see right here. So one more time, that's going to be Control, Alt, and then arrow up or down. As you can see, now we have 4 different cursors that we can work with. Another great tip is if you accidentally inserted a cursor right here, you can undo that. So what you can do is press Control and then U, and then it's going to undo the last cursor addition. This is really helpful if you want to handle multiple cursors, but you just accidentally added one wrong one. What you can also do is keep holding Alt as when you're adding them, and then just click over the one you've added, and that's going to remove it as well. Moving on to our next shortcut, Control or Command Tab. Let's say that we have a few files open. Footer, let's also do navbar. We can do the NFT Marketplace Solidity Smart Contract. This is just one of many things being taught in the NFT Marketplace course. Solidity completely from scratch. But I'm getting off track. Let's say that you have many different files right here, as you can see, and you want to quickly be able to move or switch between them. Of course, you can use your mouse, press here and here. That's completely fine. But what you can do is press Control and then Tab. It's going to allow you to switch between all of these tabs and easily navigate. So simply Control and then press Tab as many times as you want to get to your desired file. This is really quick and allows you to move files without touching your mouse. Now, let's say that I accidentally closed the navbar and the footer files, but I still need to go to them. Well, of course, you could press Ctrl P and then type navbar to get to it, but there's another cool shortcut, Ctrl Shift T or Command Shift T. It is used for reopening last closed tabs. As you can see, by holding Ctrl and Shift and pressing T 2 times, I just opened the 2 last closed files. Really useful if you accidentally close them. Another incredibly useful shortcut that I often use in my videos is to quickly close all of the files. So, as you know, when working on a project for a long time, you're going to end up with many open projects with many open files at the same time, and this can get messy. So simply hold Control or Command and then press a W a few times. This is going to close all of the files. And now if you want to get back to the last two, Control, Shift, and then T is going to get you back straight to them. And that's it. I just showed you all of the Visual Studio Code shortcuts that I personally use on a day-to-day basis. It's possible that I forgot a few, because there are so many, but if that's the case, they're definitely going to be included in the Visual Studio Code shortcuts cheat sheet that's going to be linked down below, once again, completely free. But just to finish this video on a high note, I just want to give you a few extra tips that are not necessarily shortcuts, but are definitely a great productivity hacks for working with Visual Studio Code. One cool way to increase productivity is to drag and drop the tab and move it to the right side. That way, you can see two files at the same time. Now, if you don't want to look at those files, you can simply Ctrl W and remove them, as you know. Now, let's say that we want to go back to our footer. I just use a Ctrl P and then typed footer and pressed Enter. One incredibly useful thing is to see the definition of a specific variable being used. So, for example, let's say that you have a file with a few thousand lines, and you want to know where are these images coming from. What you can do is hold Control or Command, hover over the variable, and simply click with your mouse. This is going to lead you straight to the definition of that variable, even though it is in another file. Isn't that crazy? Another amazing time saver is not actually a shortcut, but rather it is an extension that uses shortcuts behind the scenes. It is called ES7 Plus, React Redux React Native Snippets. And if you're working with React, you're gonna love this. So what you can do is go to a specific file, for example, this banner right here, and you can start typing RAFCE. This is going to immediately create a React functional component for you. And there are many other variations that this extension allows you to use. Definitely a must-have if you're a React developer. Now, that's going to be it for this video. I hope you learned and tried out as many of these shortcuts as possible, as I truly believe they're going to speed up your workflow and make you a more efficient developer. Of course, it's not so easy to remember them all at once. So once again, the cheat sheet containing all of the shortcuts is down below in the description. You can download it on your computer and then refer to it whenever you're coding. So with that said, that's going to be it for this video. Thank you so much for watching and have a wonderful day.